Hi, I'm Demi Stevens, founder and CEO of You're the Book Press and editor-in-chief of Self Pub Magazine. I'm psyched to be in the studio today with Jill Carpenter and Cash Money, who is here. He's a little sleepy right now, so hopefully he'll pop his head up and get on film for a little bit of a person behind the author, person behind the dog interview. I don't know.
There you go.
How did you get Cash?
It's really an awesome story. I had gone out on leave from my job at a very large bank, one of the largest, if not the largest bank in the nation. And I had worked up to the point where I could use a computer again, and I was surfing one day. It had been 18 years since I had owned a dog. I did not want the responsibility. I like to travel. My husband and I both at the drop of a hat.
Let's make that challenging.
Yes, they do. And there's a certain amount of heartbreak that goes along with pets also. But I was, I admit, Googling rescue pit bull. And I had looked at literally hundreds of dogs in different states. And at one point, hour, 2 hours later, his picture popped up on the internet. And when I saw it, it was like I was stabbed.
You just made a connection to your heart.
Immediate. It was immediate, and I knew it was a physical feeling. And when I looked at him, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, whatever my future held, it was tied up in his.
Wow, we have a lot of pet lovers out there watching today. Yeah,
Good.
we do.
Good.
Yeah, we absolutely do. What was the adoption process like?
Well, it was a little different, I think, from your average adoption process because he was in a shelter in Raleigh, West Virginia.
Okay, I'm from West Virginia.
I'm from West Virginia too, honey. Oh my God, that's great.
He's from West Virginia too.
He's a West Virginia pit bull, which is why I was looking in West Virginia just out of curiosity. So he had gotten himself in a pickle and was the next dog up for euthanization. So the ladies there at the shelter, and I cannot say enough good things about them, were really trying to get him out of there. And I have a blog on WordPress under Jill Perry Carpenter. And the story, I have to admit, even I think it's a pretty good story, is all there. But in a nutshell, I had to convince my husband, which I did.
Yeah.
And
it's a whole family sales project.
It is. It's only fair, that everyone agrees to it. And speak with the ladies at the shelter, make traveling arrangements and do all of that. But within 5 days, he was back at my house and living in comfort.
You are the luckiest guy on this planet.
A few people have said that. Yeah, I think he is too.
I have a sense, though, that you feel luckier because of him. Is that a story you're willing to share?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mentioned that I had left work. I had left work on disability. I have, for over a decade now, struggled with clinical depression and anxiety. And the corporate atmosphere is brutal. The pay is extremely good, but what you go through mentally, it collects over the years.
I work alone and depression hits, too.
Really?
So it attacks us all.
Yeah. When you add that to the depression and the anxiety, the fact you have to go into work every day and face these pressures and the uncertainty I had been through 2 different mergers. Those are brutal. You never know if you're going to keep your job. It just got to the point where I cracked. I did. I cracked and went out on leave. I had no idea if I'd ever go back to work again. I had no idea if I would go back to the bank again. My therapist had suggested that I get a therapy dog. She has one. She has a pit bull, actually, and of course she was promoting it. I was not ready for that. I thought she was crazy. But a few months down the road, about 6 months after I went out on disability, I did Google adopt a pit bull. I still thought I didn't want to adopt one, but I think somewhere inside I was definitely open to it, or else
you wouldn't have.
Why was I Googling it, right?
Right.
So after adopting him, very shortly after that, the inspiration for the story came. I've been doing artwork since I was probably 5, 6 years old. But for at least 10 years, I had not picked up a drawing tablet to attempt anything. I had no inspiration. If I did scribble something down, I was not happy with it. And then after adopting him, like that.
So the creativity just opened as well.
Yes. Yes, it did. Not only that, I had the anxiety causes such fear in you. You really lose your courage. Of course, you lose your self-esteem, but you lose your courage. I was scared to drive to the gas station. Forget going to the grocery store.
Forget going to the publisher.
Right.
High-powered anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was a dog park a block from my house because I wouldn't go outside my house.
Wow.
But how can you help but be brave when you've got a 72-pound lump of pit bull sitting next to you in your car? He really restored me. Yes. He really restored my courage. He bolstered it and restored it.
And inspired a book.
It's all good stuff.
What do we learn about Walt the Street Dog?
I think the main message behind Walt the Street Dog is you are very special, you are wonderful, and you are valuable simply because you're you. You know, you don't have to have all these, you don't have to be an Olympic athlete. You don't have to be a scholar. Someone is going to love you. People are going to love you simply because you're you. That's the central message in the book.
That's such a hopeful message. I always feel like I have to do more. I'm constantly trying to turn on to, so that people will like me. And I just...
Yes. Caring about what others think of you, that's just such a universal thing. And you're so free when you let go of that.
Well, I can't wait to see what books are next in this series. Thank you so much for sharing. I know many of our viewers out there may be in love with dogs, and maybe you've turned just one new heart to pit bulls.
Oh, I hope so.
And maybe you've turned one person who's out there just struggling with their own lives. That's the dream I have. Take, what you can grab from this universe and make your life your own and make it a life you're really happy to live.
Hang in there. If you're struggling, hang in there. It will pass. There is an answer. Hang in there.
Thank you for that inspiring message.
Absolutely.